It's March 24th, 2012, and it's been a pretty crazy day for America. We've had 18 lives lost needlessly from another shooting. 18 kids will never grow up. 18 kids will never drive, never graduate school. They'll never be able to enjoy life ever again because their lives were cut short. And it's really sad to see how little some people like Ted Cruz, for example, value human life. He goes on Twitter and posts about sending up thoughts and prayers, and my immediate thought was that's not going to really do much of anything. Thoughts and prayers can help some people through tough times. I used them myself when I was faced with almost going blind. And when medical science gives you a no percentage chance of waking up with vision, well, you gotta find something. And whatever gives you peace and solace in a trying time, as long as you don't hurt anybody, hey, go nuts. Worked for me in that time, helped me get through that day and the aftermath. So, thoughts and prayers are of some value. They're not completely useless, but in this instance, they pretty much are. It's not going to do any good for helping the families on a practical level. I'll never forget my second grade teacher's mother passing away. And first thing that my mom did was go over and offer a shoulder to cry on and someone to talk to. And we got some food for them. And maybe they didn't need the food, but a shoulder to cry on definitely helped, as did someone to talk to. And the feeling that people cared. And that counts for so much. Especially in today's age of social media, it's easy to be bitter, it's easy to be angry, and it's easy to feel that others are out to get you. Doesn't matter if it's rooted in reality or anything, it's just easy to think that. It's easy to make mountains out of molehills. And unfortunately, for the second time in a week, we have seen senseless tragedy. We have seen many lives lost for no good reason, going on almost 3 decades since Columbine. And in that time frame, 26, 27 years, nothing's really changed. We've gotten looser with gun laws. We have ghost guns to worry about. You've got switches to make a handgun into a semi-automatic. So we've taken a bad problem, made it considerably worse, and also we're not doing jack shit about mental health in this country, and that's not making anything any better. You know, that's making life a lot worse, even if you don't own a gun. Okay, as someone who has no desire to own a gun and has struggled with mental health for many years, I don't want to imagine struggling with mental health problems and having a gun. You know, I cannot fathom that, because I have had dark times where I would wonder, not so much that I don't want I want to die or anything, but it's like, I don't want to live, you know? I'd get to that point where it just felt like nothing could go right. And it took a lot to get past that kind of feeling, and a feeling of failure amplifying itself, you know? And I remember in late December of, I think it was 2016, I messed up a sale. And it was like, I kind of gave someone like a huge discount on a PS4 of all things, because I noted cash, there was no cash. And it wasn't brought up to my attention until January 3rd the following year, so whatever it was, a month or so, or a few weeks had passed. And the time frame's always bad there because January 2nd is my mom's birthday, so I'm like always in a kind of an odd headspace. And I remember getting taken to task, and that was about it really. It wasn't that horrible, but I started making it so much worse in my head by going, what if I had lost my job? All this sacrifice I've made, it was for nothing really. It was a learning experience to be sure, but it would have been for nothing. And I started thinking, okay, I lose the job, lose the house, lose everything, and you just go down that hill. And it's not, there's no reason to go down that hill beyond the you made a mistake 2 weeks ago, let's move on kind of approach. And it took me a long time to get to that point, but because I went through that, it allowed me to have a better headspace for other things would happen later. And similar thing happened after Sunday, the 15th or 16th, whatever the Sunday was, day after the New Japan show. And I'm just in kind of an odd headspace, and I wasn't really sure why, really. And I remember posting on Twitter the night of the show, I was like, gosh, it finally feels good to associate this time period with something positive. So, mid-May is always something where I'm always thinking of Mother's Day. And I turned a mountain out of a molehill at work and had to leave early. I was at ball. I was in a rough space. And I texted my manager. I was like, I should have just called out, or I should have just, not even come in and just gone, I'm going to take the next day off to do photo editing, which honestly would be rooted in some truth and surface level. But it really would have given me that time to heal and not come in and think, okay, I'll be okay, it's a 5-hour shoot. That was not the case. And I made a mistake that I regret, moved on from, and I was like, okay, that's all you can do. You can live life. If you could rewind things, you could. You would, but you can't. And, okay, it happens. In the case of what we've got today, we've got so many mental health problems in so few ways to really theoretically deal with. Okay, it's a big step to admit you have a mental health problem, to accept treatment, and to start that path. And one good thing I'm glad about having that newer mistake happen is like that got me down the road to finally getting better, and it lasting, and it sticking, and it being something that will carry with me not just now but in the future. And then I can be the best version of me and not fight myself and not be my own worst enemy. And one great thing that has happened has been good people coming into my life from work. And then that going beyond that, and then just being good people and confidants, and that means a lot. It really does, because I have had so much loss in my life that it's like, it's easy to amplify. It's easy to go, okay, there's nothing, there's no one. It's like, well, actually, no, it's not the case. I've got people in my neighborhood if I need it. I've got friends I've had for, almost my entire life. Almost like a second family, and when the first family is largely gone, that counts for a lot. But as a country, we need to do a much better job with mental health, with gun control, and with just letting one another know that we matter. Because we all do. We all matter. And it's easy to feel like you don't after a bad day, after a rough patch in a day. But it never stops. We always matter. And I just want to not see any more shootings. I know that's probably not going to be the case. It's Tuesday. Maybe we'll have another one before the week's out. Hopefully not. But it's possible to say, well, we won't. What are the odds? Unfortunately, they're seemingly pretty good. They're pretty good in the worst way. So, let people know that they help you, that you care about them. And if everyone does that, we'll be in better shape. Might not solve every problem, but if we can make the day a little brighter for one person, kind of keep that energy going, and hopefully allow people who are at the end of their rope take a step back off that edge, reflect, and deal with the consequences of something that's far less than 18 people being killed senselessly. Because death is not something you just heal from. It's something that can stick with you for years, for decades, forever. And there can be good days and very bad ones. For me, significant days can take a lot to recover from. And you're never quite fully there. But every year I get just that little bit better. Holidays get a little easier. Birthdays get a little easier. Anniversary dates for passings get a little easier. Mother's Day still a tough one, but not impossible. And the second Mother's Day I was with Best Buy, we did Mother's Day shoots. And my manager asked, "You're going to be okay?" And I was like, "Well, we're going to find out." And it honestly brought me so much joy to do photo shoots for parents, even though I couldn't do one for my mom. I was at least able to remember her and honor her in every photo I took and every photo I printed. And that was something that I took a great deal of silent pride in and greatly appreciative for. I am appreciative of having who I have in my life. That's most important, and what I have is secondary. But what I have in the form of a DSLR has allowed me to vent and feel better. It's allowed me to take photos that were used on memorials, and allowed me to capture the beauty of things that I love, whether it be nature, Gracie, Spud, Darian, significant people in life, also important moments. Let's hope for a